the comparatively less discussed NBA Finals in history is the 1957 NBA Championship Series, which I find intriguingly overlooked. This particular championship series extended to a full 7 games, with an astonishing 5 of those 7 being decided by just a mere 2-point margin. Therefore, today we're going to talk about the 1957 Finals and Boston's first championship. Following the conclusion of the 55-56 NBA season, the league experienced 2 significant franchise developments. Firstly, the Baltimore Bullets ceased operations, resulting in their folding. Secondly, the Milwaukee Hawks relocated to St. Louis. In the 56-57 NBA season, the Western Division saw a unique scenario where no team managed to finish with a winning record after the 82-game season. As per the playoff structure, the second and third place teams in each division were slated to engage in a best-of-3 series, with the winner earning the opportunity to face the first place team for a berth to the finals. In this instance, the 3-way tie occurred between the St. Louis Hawks, the Fort Wayne Pistons, and the Minneapolis Lakers. Ultimately, it was the St. Louis Hawks who would emerge victorious. However, the Eastern Conference lacked the intensity witnessed in the West. The Boston Celtics, powered by the addition of rookie Bill Russell in December, following his participation in the Olympics. Also, the addition of rookie Tom Heinsohn. Boston would annihilate the Syracuse Nationals 3-0 before advancing to the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals saw the Celtics facing the Hawks in a best-of-7 series, following the 2-2-1-1-1 format. During the regular season, the two teams clashed 9 times with the following outcomes. Boston secured 2 wins, and St. Louis secured 2 wins in the games played in St. Louis. While Boston, the Celtics won 4 games, and St. Louis couldn't secure a single victory in Boston. Additionally, they met once on a neutral ground, with Boston emerging victorious. And given the regular season performance, it's understandable why odds makers favored the Celtics as 1-3 favorites entering the 1957 NBA Finals. But it was the Hawks that caught the Celtics off guard, securing a 1-0 and 2-1 series leads. In Game 1, Bob Pettit's 37 points and Ed McCauley's 23 points accounted for nearly half of the Hawks' scoring, as they triumphed in a double overtime victory, 125-123. St. Louis displayed more balanced scoring, with 5 players in double figures. In contrast, the Celtics, despite Bill Sharman's 36 points and 26 from Tom Heinsohn, no other player had double-digit points. Game 2 witnessed the Celtics facing a must-win situation on their home court. They sprinted to a 62-43 halftime lead and coasted to victory, as Pettit had an off day, managing only 3 field goals. Game 3 garnered as much attention for the pregame incident as the actual gameplay. Boston coach Red Auerbach punched St. Louis owner Ben Kerner in the face, resulting in a cut lip for Kerner. The altercation started when Auerbach protested the height of the basketball rim and requested the officials to measure it. Kerner rushed onto the court and confronted Red, who later mentioned that Ben had used offensive language towards him. Imagine today if a coach punched an owner, like if Steve Kerr punched Steve Ballmer. The incident electrified the crowd of 10,000, inspiring the Hawks. Despite trailing by 3 entering the fourth quarter, St. Louis outscored the Celtics 31-26 to secure the win, with Pettit rebounding from his subpar Game 2 performance to lead the home team with 26 points. Game 4 was another crucial contest. The Celtics, as they sought to even the series, but it was Bill Russell, known more for his defensive prowess and rebounding, who delivered his best performance, notching 17 points and leading all rebounders with 20. Although the Hawks rebounded from their poor second quarter, during which they outscored 35-17, they couldn't secure the lead in the second half. Game 5, Bill Sharman's 32 points propelled the Celtics to their first series lead, a 3-2 lead, in front of a crowd of 13,909. Watched as Boston edged ahead. The Hawks, particularly Jack McHorn, were left pondering how to contain Sharman. Game 6 marked the turning point where the Hawks became a desperate team. The lead shifted 23 times, and the score was tied 20 times. In the final seconds, with the score knotted at 94, the Hawks took possession of the ball, as Bob Pettit, the obvious choice, attempted a long-handed set shot from the corner, which was missed, however, and Cliff Hagan nudged the ball into the basket, securing the Hawks' last minute victory. And this is the purpose of the video, to talk about the Game 7. And if I could make any wish about NBA history, it'd be that I could watch that 1957 Game 7 live. That Game 7 victory set Saturday afternoon matchup in front of 13,909 fans in the Boston Garden. And if they win, this would be the first time Boston would be a champion since the Bruins did it in 1941. The game was actually only televised in the Northeast, and under a last minute arrangement back in St. Louis, included in the crowd were members of the Boston Red Sox, Philadelphia Phillies. And before this Game 7, Red Auerbach made up with Ben Kerner. On quarter one, Slater Martin set a record when he took the court for his 77th playoff game. The Celtics actually led by 5 points at one time, but it was the Hawks who took a 2 point lead, 28-26. In the second quarter, Boston went 9 in front, twice led by 6 after that. But in the final 3 minutes before halftime, the Hawks pitched up 10 points, with Hagan scoring 6 of them. Hawks 53, the Celtics 51. And in quarter three, once again, the Celtics raced to lead, only to have it wiped away by the never-quitting Hawks, a unit of Jack Nichols, Heinsohn, Andy Phillip, Russell, and Cousy changed the score from 68-66 against them to 73-68 in their favor. The period ended with a beautiful Cousy to Nichols pass under the basket. Celtics 83, Hawks 77. The fourth quarter was really competitive, and no team would give up. Hagan, McCauley, Pettit, Martin all contributed to the outburst of scoring. And one of the things that doesn't get talked about, we talk about Magic Johnson's rookie Game 6, but Tom Heinsohn had one of the greatest rookie performances. When they went to the bench, I've heard this story that Red Auerbach said to him, "You're playing like a rookie." And Heinsohn took this personal. And Heinsohn went out there and scored 4 of the next 6 points, and which were, all 2 pointers back then. They didn't have 3 pointers. Now Boston was down 101 to 97 with 140 left to play. The Celtics scored 6 in a row. 2 freebies by Cousy, one by Ramsey, and a clever turnaround basket from Bill Russell. Seconds left to go, and another free throw by Bob Cousy. 10 seconds later. However, Bob missed his second try. St. Louis rebounded and took timeout, not surprisingly. Hanem called for the ball to go to Pettit, who drove on Russell and was fouled in the act of shooting. The entire crowd screaming. Bob Pettit calmly sank 2 free throws. Then there was only 7 seconds left. The Celtics had the last shot, but Sharman's jumper rolled out of the rim and came out. Celtics 103, Hawks 103. In the first overtime, Boston fell behind 109-105, but 2 goals by Ramsey to tied the game halfway through overtime. The teams traded baskets to remain tied. Then the Hawks would lose Hagan when he committed his 6th foul and fouled out of the game with 55 seconds remaining. Again, at the end of the overtime, Sharman took a jump shot and it rolled out of the rim. Celtics 113, Hawks 113. Now, in the second quarter of overtime, Tommy Heinsohn scored the first 2 Boston baskets, but the visitors jumped out in front 120-117. Russell and Heinsohn scored from the floor to make it a 1 point advantage, but Heinsohn fouled out of the game, getting a standing ovation from the crowd. Then McCauley committed his 6th foul on Ramsey, who sank a free one. So the St. Louis Hawks player coach Alex Hanem would have to check himself in because 4 Hawks players were disqualified at this point. After Russell blocked Coleman's shot, Frank took a pass from Cousy to put it in with 75 seconds left. It marked the 31st lead change. Shortly afterwards, Frank sank a 25-foot jumper for a 124-121 lead. It was his 10th point in overtime. The Hawks kept battling. Martin converted a free throw with 50 seconds left. Then Slater stole the ball from Ramsey and fed it to Med Park, who was fouled by Phillip. Park made his first free throw but missed the second, which was a chance to tie the game. The ball bounced deep and Hanem corralled the rebound. Player coach called out time, the game-winning basket. This is one of the most incredible moments in NBA history, and it's not really talked about. And Alex Hannum, he played football when he was younger. He had a good throwing arm to him. So he drove up this play because they didn't have a timeout to advance the ball. And Hannum drew up the play that he was going to throw the ball from the inbound line, hit the backboard 94 feet away, and Pettit was going to catch it and secure the tie to put it in the third overtime. Because at that point, the lead was 125, 123. They didn't have a 3 point line back then. It's not like Pettit could just catch it and shoot a 3 pointer. So Hannum actually threw a perfect pass. Didn't mess up at all. Hit the backboard, bounced off, and Pettit actually caught the ball and shot it. But the ball rolled out, and that was it. Celtics won 125 to 123. It was the first of the Celtics championships. As we know, Bill Russell would go on to win 11 of them. The Hawks would win the following year, but that's their only championship. And another aspect that doesn't get talked about with this finals is the St. Louis Hawks actually drafted Bill Russell that year. And the reason why they didn't keep Bill Russell is because many of the Hawks players on that team and many of the fans themselves in St. Louis didn't want to see Russell play for the team. They didn't want to see a black player on the St. Louis Hawks. So they actually traded him to the Celtics for Ed McCauley, who was a native of St. Louis. And at the time, St. Louis thought this was a perfect trade, but it ended up costing them. You pick the player who has the best skill level. Doesn't matter what race or color they are, and it cost St. Louis. And this is one of the greatest games in NBA history. Some old heads that I've talked to say it's the greatest NBA game of all time. Unfortunately, there's no footage as far as like the full game out there. There's a snippet of the end, which I put in this video, where you see Pettit get the rebound and try to get it in, but you don't see the actual pass, which I would have loved to have seen that. It's one of the greatest moments in NBA history. This finals was super competitive. I mean, five of those games were decided by just 2 points. Then you had the drama between, Coach Red Auerbach and the owner of the Hawks. So there was a lot of drama in the series and a lot of competitive. So that's, in my opinion, why this is the most underrated finals of all time. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Thanks for watching. Sorry I haven't been around in a while. I'm gonna keep the content going. I'm sorry for all my subscribers that have been patiently waiting. There's gonna be much more to come. Thanks for watching.